Good morning, everybody. Happy to see you guys on this early Saturday morning. I'm gonna be showing you how to use your Kiwi Club packaging to create layouts today. This first one that we're looking at is from back in November. I have a group of ladies that get together once a month to do Kiwi Club. And the whole idea was, let's make sure that we're not wasting our kits, that they're not sitting on a shelf, that we're not ordering them, but not using them. So we started getting together once a month. So we grab that package, take a look, and decide what we can do with it. So this was the one from November. And so this was that Life is Golden kit. And so literally just the strip right off the top of the package. Now over here it says something like Kiwi Club November. And so you've got to figure out what you're going to do to hide that little tab that's on the packaging, or you have to decide if you're going to cut this into some kind of a shape so that you're not even dealing with that. Okay, so I'll show you some different examples today. On the back side of your package, if you flip it over, there's these strips that come straight down on the back of the package and they show all of the papers. Those are super fun just to cut straight across and use the strips on your pages, and I think I have a couple of examples of that. And even the little sentiment cards that they're showing on the packaging can be fun to cut out. So here's the first one. And then this is what I did with the December one. So this one, I just took the Happy Holidays off of the package and used this banner that was part of one of our club kits and made it fit on there. So that was kind of fun. This one I did use paper from the actual kit. This burgundy and the light blue are my own cardstock. I typically will grab several pages of cardstock. Like as soon as I get a kit in, I'll pull up a page that has that's really representative of the colors. Like this would be a great one to look at. And I'll just stand in front of my cardstock and pull 2 colors of this burgundy and 2 pages of this blue and 2 pages of this light blue and a couple pages of this kind of gold. And that way as I'm creating, I can easily throw in different backgrounds or add some paper. And people are always like, how did you get 6 layouts out of the kit? That's how. I'm always adding extra paper in because the Kiwi paper is so beautiful that I hate to waste it for a background, but once in a while I do. All right, so that was December. This one was from the Better Together. So again, it's just that strip right off the front of the packaging. Covered up the Kiwi Club part with some flowers here. These are just a couple of the tags from the kit. Okay, so kind of fun way to use it up. The Just Peachy kit, I did the same thing as I did on the Christmas kit. So I went ahead and cut that and used it on that banner. Okay. So, the rest of that is just paper from the kit. Okay, so here's an example of one where I used the top of the packaging. Okay, so this was obviously the Wild at Heart kit, covered up the little club logo. This one, which off of the back of the package, just cut a couple of strips. So obviously, I mean, the colors that come in are perfect for the kit. These are the examples of all the paper. This one, the Wild Memories, this is actually a card from the kit. But then these 2 are straight off of the back of the package. And then I cut all of these little tag shapes off the back of the package. So it'll be fun when I find some photos to put on there. This is the Pieces of Me. I love the colors in this kit, you guys. Oh my gosh. This one has just my own background paper in it. Okay. Took the Pieces of Me, pulled in the hexagon, but then popped in a little hexagon here and a couple of the puzzle pieces. So ended up making something fun. Here's the one from Squeeze the Day. This is my own background, but here's the Squeeze the Day banner from the package. This is a strip off of the back, okay? And then this was one of the patterns in the package, and I thought it was close enough to this to really be able to just replicate this same look carried across the page. Okay, this picture is one of the cutest things I've ever seen. I love it. And then I don't know if you can see it, but you know, they gave us that great chalk pen in this kit, and I just used it to highlight on my slices just a little bit to make them look a little bit juicy. So, and it kind of mimicked this idea here on the package. So the only thing that I would say, because I had actually inked this one, we were using the slices more as like a stencil than as a template, and we were literally just inking on top of them to create this look. Well, then you've got the ink, and I was using the chalk pen, and so the tip of my chalk pen was a little bit yellow. So anyway, it just took a second for it to come off on another piece of paper, but the first thing I went to use it for, it had a little bit of a tint from that ink. So here's the squeeze the day. Let me set that one aside. So I pulled out some background paper, and I decided to pull out what I had left of the very first kit that we ever got. So this will show you what I mean when I say I use the kit down to almost nothing. So this kit was the very first one, and we weren't using the packaging at this point. And so I did have the packaging banner left from this one. I do not have, there's no strips on the back. This one wasn't made like that. These older kits don't have it. But this is what I have left, and we're gonna create a layout out of it. So, ta-da! Just a bunch of small scraps. So I do have this, which is kind of nice, and I can use it. Obviously I had to pull out my own background paper. I didn't have anything big enough left. And then I've got a couple of sentiments left. Happy camper, keep it simple. I actually think I have a couple more in here. This is big enough to create some kind of a border element. This one is left over from a page that I made, so I can definitely use it. And I'm just gonna scoot these smaller pieces for now off to the side. All right, so I've got a couple of decent sized pieces here, so that's good. This June little block is set really close to the top, and I think what I'm going to do with this one is go ahead and trim it into a different shape. So one of the ones that I like to use is this big bracket, and I do think that this is big enough to use the bracket with. I can get most of that a little bit of it's going to kick off, but I don't think it's a big deal. So I think about there is going to work. And I don't know about you guys, I would not call myself a fussy scrapbooker. Like, I like to make things nice, of course, and I love to use different details and things, but I acknowledge that my books are mostly on a shelf, right? I go through them now and then. My kids come home for a weekend and they might ask about a specific event, and I'll pull out a book, things like that. So I have never had somebody go through my book and say, looks like you kind of rushed on that page, or maybe you should have added a little more. People are always just so excited to see your books that they don't have to be perfect. Make them perfect for you and what you enjoy. So I am going to just kind of round that up, I think, and take that little bracket out of there. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side, just because I want to get rid of this red, a little bit of red piece here. Okay, and then I've got this red tip down here too. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. Modify on the fly. All right. I'm gonna put this here. So again, I've got this red piece. It is the only 12-inch red I have left. So I'm going to trim a little bit off of there just so I can use it over on this other side. I I'm a big fan of carrying color from one side of my layout, one part of my layout to the other. So even if it just means getting a strip of this, I want to have enough to bring a little red over. Okay. And that'll give me enough to put up there at the top. And then bring some of the red over here. Now I want to do something else over here. This is not going to be enough of a color pop. So I've got one piece left, guys. One little strip. So I want to make sure that I add a little bit of movement. I've got some movement here. So I want to make sure I bring something over on this side. I believe that this border was Jason Lane. If you were watching at the beginning, I mentioned that this particular kit had sat since I used the bit of it that I used when I got it, and now it's been sitting here. So it's been a while, but this looks, yeah, good. Okay, so it is that Jason Lane 2A and 2B. So I am going to make myself a little curve to go over here to kind of mimic some of that movement on the page. Give this a trim. And I'm hoping to have just enough left of this strip that I can put a little pop of color from this blue over on the other side as well. Whew, I cut it kind of close there. We'll see. Hopefully it's enough. I think it will be. All right. So this one is a little bit bigger. So we'll go ahead and put it here. And I could always use some washi tape or some ribbon or something if I wanted to expand that out a little bit. I'm sure I have something that would coordinate. And I was wondering, I might just mirror it there. That's kind of cool. Okay, and then tuck this up under. So always kind of funny when you're creating with limited pieces left, but I think that'll work. I'll do something kind of like that. And then at least I've got some carryover of those colors. So one of my favorite parts of this particular kit was the templates that came with it. So if you didn't get in on this the first time around, and now you have this kit ordered, you are gonna love this set of wilderness templates. It is one of my favorite all-time sets. So the mountain is a great one to play with. And I really love this compass. I might use this tree. I actually really prefer the pine a la carte, but sometimes I'll use them together. I do like the mountain a la carte too. So I know that those came out a little bit later. There was so much demand for this kit after it came out that was a fun way to get it in a few more people's hands, at least some of those templates. So I think what I'm gonna do is use this little mountain over here. I wanna get something else on this side. You know, you've got this nice big title over here, but I could get a little mountain on this side, maybe with a tree or two. Bring in some of the other colors from this kit. And then I'll probably just put something like this compass up here. Kind of like the detail of that border, so I don't necessarily want to lose all that. Maybe I'll just bring it down a bit. And I'm not sure about these ones right now. I've got a couple of sentiments left. So I've got this happy camper. It's already got kind of a round feel to it. So I might do something with it up here. And then this keep it simple. It's got some of the trees. I love that that ties in with this title card here, these here. I wonder if this will fit. All right, so this Wilderness 2 template actually fits really well on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use it. And that's gonna carry that same feel over to this side. And I don't know if you guys have heard about the kind of the concept of creating things with a triangle, but it's that idea that you want to use a recurring element, a recurring color to keep someone's eye moving across the page. So to keep their eye moving across the page, you want to make sure that you're carrying a color across. And so that idea of the triangle would be, okay, you've got here, here, and here. So I do try to bring things into my work around 3 times if I'm using a real bold color or something like that. And supposedly it keeps the eye moving across the page. I don't know. I heard that a long time ago, probably when I was a pretty new scrapbooker. This is another color that's popping up here and over here. Okay, there's a little tiny bit of it. It's kind of funny, that's the color of the smoke coming off the fire. And it's a big enough piece to use. So, oh good, it's yellow on the other side. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this for my little pine, one of my little pine trees. Let me get these last little bits. So I do like to use just the tips of my scissors for some of these cuts that go in and out, just to get them as easy as possible. Okay. So I've got this. You can either put it maybe at the edge of this mountain or a little bit behind. I probably will add another tree over here too, just for the eye, add a little bit more, I don't know, anchor in that corner. So the flip side of this is a really cool yellow pattern. That would probably look kind of neat over here and carry that color over too. I might do another pop of this for that compass. Okay. I like the pattern, the direction that the pattern goes this way. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this particular tree. Get another one of these. We'll use this down in that lower spot. And I'm going to trace the compass while I have it out too. Get all of those out of the way. Clean this tree up a bit. And then we'll see where we're at. I'm not going to add a whole lot more to this page. Typically, when I am doing these kind of layouts where I don't have photos that I'm working with at the time, I don't always put photo mats on. Sometimes I do. It just really depends. Sometimes I feel inspired and I'll add the photo mats, knowing that eventually I'm going to find photos that fit. But sometimes I just leave them knowing that I can add photo mats later and not take that chance that I've, you know, kind of boxed myself in by adding the photo mats early. So it's a personal preference, I guess. And for me, it really depends on the layout. Some of them I just can't stand it. I have to put the photo mats. It's got to feel more finished. All right, so I love this tree. I don't know why, but it's feeling like it needs to be the yellow on this side. Yeah, I think that's cute. Just something like this. And then I've got this color getting carried over here with the compass. I want to make sure that I add this part because this compass doesn't really look like much without it. So that needle, I could either bring over that light color or I have enough of this left. I might use a little bit of the red just because I want it to pop on that yellow. I think in my scraps, I even have a little bit darker red, which would make it, yeah. That's funny. Looks like I used a die cut on this one to say happy birthday. Okay, I'm gonna just cut this out. So if you heard me talking earlier about the fruit slices, this would be another one that you could actually just ink that little piece inside if you wanted to. Just use a dauber and some ink. I've seen people trace them and cut them with an X-Acto knife. You know, lots of different options. Whatever you feel like is easiest for you. So put that little compass thing there. And I'll probably will add just a little enamel dot or a brad, something in the top of this. I'll have to see what I've got. Was thinking about making just a circle out of this scrap of yellow that I have left and putting it up there almost like a moon. There's a little crescent moon on here, but maybe like a full moon and carry that yellow theme across. I need to grab something to make a circle though. Let me see if rings is about the right size. Perfect. Okay. So I can use the inside of that ring. I think this is going to work. See if I can save a little bit of this. I'm sure I can turn it into something later. Alrighty. Oh yeah, that works. Just that little pop of yellow around the edge. I like that. Kind of looks like a little full moon up there in the corner. I am going to ink this up off camera so I don't waste your guys' time. I'll post a little picture in the comments if you wanted to see what it looked like when I was finished. But I hope it gave you some ideas about how you can use your packaging to create a layout. And I appreciate that you took a little bit of time to hang out with me. Have a good one, you guys. Bye-bye.